All right, guys, we are going to be in Psalm chapter 18 today, and it is a long psalm. It's 50 verses, but we're reading most of it. It's one of those things where the first verse, absolutely amazing. It describes it. The last verse, one of those verses you just memorize because it's so good. So, Psalm chapter 18, and we're just going to get into it. Psalm 18, verse 1. And this was after, just so you know, this was after David was delivered. Okay, the Lord delivered him. And so he is very happy. He's very joyful. He's stoked because of the deliverance. So he says, Psalm 18:1, I love you, O Lord, my strength. Love that. He recognizes right away God was my strength. He says, the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my strength, in whom I trust, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised, so shall I be saved from my enemies. Have you ever felt like that? I mean, he uses so many descriptive, huge words to describe who God is because he's on the other side of being delivered. He's on the other side of being rescued. And so look at all these words. My rock, my fortress, my deliverer, I trust you, the horn of my salvation, which means strength. And then he goes further. He says, my stronghold. I mean, he was praising God. He said, he saved me from my enemies. He was so stoked. He was in such a good place. And I would say we get in these places sometimes, you know, maybe they're few and far between. I don't know. But when you get to the place, the other side of rescue, praise God. Thank God like David. I mean, it's amazing. He just, verse 1, just look at, verse 1 to 3. So good. And you can tell even by reading his words that David was in fact delivered from his enemies. He says, verse 4, the pangs of death surround me, and the floods of ungodliness made me afraid. Now, in other words, he was surrounded by enemies. It was difficult. He felt closed in. He was actually fearful. What does it say? It says, the sorrows of Sheol surround me. Sheol means death. The snares of death confronted me. He thought he was a goner. He thought he was going to die. He says, in my distress, I called upon the Lord. The best thing to do in distress, call upon the Lord. He said, and I cried out to my God. He heard my voice from his temple, and my cry came from before him, even to his ears. So David was so incredibly confident on the other side of rescue that God heard his cries, his pleas, his prayers. Hindsight's 20/20. So when we look back at how God has delivered us, it's easy to go, yeah, God heard me. Yeah, God was moving. Yeah, God did a work. It's in the midst of those difficulties where it's kind of hard to hear or even believe God hears us and God's doing a work. But even during those times and in those times, God is doing a work. It says, then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of the hills also quaked and were shaken because he was angry. Smoke went up from his nostrils and devouring fire from his mouth. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also and came down with darkness under his feet. It's crazy, right? Verse 10, and he rode upon a cherub and flew. He flew upon the wings of the wind. He made darkness his secret place. His canopy around him was dark waters, and thick clouds of the skies. From the brightness before him, his thick clouds passed with hailstones and coals of fire. In other words, man, God is powerful. One of his omni attributes is omnipotence. He is all powerful. And so David, after being delivered, was shouting and praising God because of his power, his thunderous power. He says, and that's what he says, verse 13, the Lord thundered from heaven, and the Most High uttered his voice. Hailstones and coals of fire, he sent out his arrows and scattered the foe. Lightnings in abundance, and he vanquished them. And then the channels of the sea were seen, the foundations of the world were uncovered. At your rebuke, O Lord, at the blast of the breath of your nostrils, he sent from above. He said, he took me. He drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy, from those who hated me, for they were too strong for me. They confronted me in the day of my calamity by the Lord, but the Lord was my support. He also brought me out into a broad place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Don't you love that? He delivered me because he delighted in me. God delights in you. You're his workmanship. You're his poem. You're his song. He delivered you because he delights in you. And he's powerful. He's powerful powerful enough to save and to rescue. He said, David's like, people hated me. These enemies just wanted me dead and gone. But God delivered him because God delighted in him. That's such a good point. Just remember that. God delivered you because he delights in you. Verse 20, the Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands. He has recompensed me, for I have kept the ways of the Lord and have not wickedly departed from my God. For all his judgments were before me. He says, and I did not put away his statutes from me. He said, I was also blameless before him, and I kept myself from my iniquity. He said, therefore the Lord has recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his sight. In other words, David's like, he even rewarded me. Not only did he deliver me from my enemies and I didn't die, and he delights in me, but also he rewarded me. The Apostle Paul talks a lot about that, God rewarding him. And that's not a bad thing. We'd rather get rewards from the Lord rather than rewards on this earth, right? We give all the glory and credit and honor to God on this earth. But when we get to heaven, he will reward us for what we did for him and his son, Jesus Christ. Verse 25, with the merciful you will show yourself merciful. With the blameless man you shall show yourself blameless. With the pure you will show yourself pure. And with the devious you will show yourself shrewd. For you will save the humble people, but will bring down haughty looks. God hates haughtiness and pride and conceit. It's clear in the Proverbs especially, God hates pride. For you will light my lamp. The Lord my God will enlighten my darkness. For by you I can run against a troop. By my God I can leap over a wall. As for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is proven. He is a shield to all who trust in him. There's so much in here. I don't have time to dig into all of it, but I love that he enlightens our darkness. He says, by you I can run against a troop. In other words, with your strength, Lord, with you leading the way, leading the charge, enemies are all conquered. And I have triumph following you. And we do. You have triumph following the Lord. Verse 31, for who is God except the Lord? And who is a rock except our God? It is God who arms me with strength and makes my way perfect. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer and sets me on my high places. He teaches my hands to make war so that my arms can bend a bow of bronze. So much. If you're looking for like a psalm just to reiterate and remind you of God's power and strength that he gives you, go to Psalm 18. If you're looking for a deliverance psalm or a rescue psalm, go to this psalm. If you're looking for an encouragement for who God is and how he is towards his kids, go to this psalm. Verse 35, you have also given me the shield of your salvation, right? Part of the armor. Your right hand has held me up. Your gentleness has made me great. You enlarged my path under me so my feet did not slip. So many times our foot slips. What that means is we let the ways of the world or the enemy or the flesh get to us, and we slip and we get off the track. We get off of the road of God's will. We have to be careful to look to him, to know that he is the one that leads us on the right path, the right road, the right way. He said, I have pursued my enemies and overtaken them. Neither did I turn back again till they were destroyed. I have wounded them so that they could not rise. They have fallen under my feet, right? He had total victory. For you have armed me with strength for the battle. You have subdued under me those who rose up against me. Verse 40, you have also given me the necks of my enemies so that I destroyed those who hated me. They cried out, but there was none to save, even to the Lord, but he did not answer them. Then I beat them as fine as the dust before the wind. I cast them out like dirt into the streets. So these guys were against David. They hated David. They wanted him dead, and they didn't care about God. So what happened? They were judged. God is a just judge. 43, you have delivered me from the strivings of the people. You have made me the head of the nations. A people I have not known shall serve me. As soon as they hear me, they obey me. The foreigners, submit to me. The foreigners fade away and come frightened from their hideouts. And he just proclaims now, verse 46 on, the Lord lives. God is alive. He's always been, he always will be. Blessed be my rock, capital R, the rock which is Christ, which a storm comes, we will not be washed into the sea, like Jesus said. Let the God of my salvation be exalted. Exalt his name, because he has saved you and rescued you. It is God who avenges me. God fights our battles, right? He is our defender and subdues the peoples under me. He delivers me from my enemies. You also lift me up above those who rise against me. You have delivered me from the violent man. Therefore, all of this, and he says, because of all of this, therefore, verse 49. And when you see a therefore in the Bible, you ask, what is it there for? Look previous to what was just said. And this is basically in summation. Therefore, I will give thanks to you, O Lord, among the Gentiles, and sing praises to your name. He says, great deliverance he gives to his king, and shows mercy to his anointed, to David and his descendants forever. Man, so this really is a psalm of deliverance. David is recognizing God's power, his strength, his might, and also he's recognizing how the Lord delights in those he delivers. He's recognizing God's heart towards his kids. And he's saying, God is alive. He is my rock, my salvation, basically my everything. And so this is such an encouraging psalm, you guys. 50 verses. I could have done a I could have done a 5-part teaching easily on this, but I'm trying to keep these short. But man, Psalm 18, so encouraging, so good. Read it for yourself. Dig in even more if you want, and be encouraged. God bless you guys. We'll talk to you next time.